Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we will be talking about my thoughts about the Revamped Explorers that should be coming soon to GMS in the summer. I will be also doing a quick tier list for newer players or players that need a little help on choosing which Explorer to start with, or perhaps you are planning on switching to a different main. Maybe I can help you with that. And just so you guys know, I'm only going to be ranking the Explorers. Sorry, Jet. I want to focus more on just the overall 1st to 4th job skills since that's where the majority of the changes are. So without further ado, let's start. So starting with Dark Knight. This class has become even more unkillable, like really. The passive healing or lifesteal skill, whatever you want to call it, Lord of Darkness, gives you a 100% chance to recover 2% of your maximum HP. Additionally, it provides you with 30% crit rate and 8% crit damage. You unlock the skill at 3rd job, so it's quite early in your journey. Gungnir Descent also has no more cooldown, which means you can spam this skill now, so that's quite nice. Dark Knights are a bit MP hungry, so that's the only downside I noticed while playing this class. Their 5th job skill is relatively the same, so overall Dark Knights are your well-rounded, overall good at everything type of warrior class. So I'm going to put them at A tier, just, solid baseline. Next, we have Hero. Now, Hero, with the combo orb system changed, the biggest difference between pre-Destiny patch and post-Destiny patch is that the main mobbing skill, Raging Blow, has been changed so that you can always have it active. This skill has become so much better, and the hitbox has become so much better. Next, the skill Enrage was originally made for bossing so that you could focus your attacks and deal more damage on a single target. So now instead of increasing your damage based on the number of orbs that you have, it simply reduces the number of monsters hit by 1/3. Hero's post-Destiny patch is still one of the top damage dealers, and with these changes, it makes their mobbing capabilities significantly improved. Their bossing capabilities remain roughly the same. So, Heroes are S tier. I would put them at S tier. Let's kind of do this rapid fire. Let's do Paladin. Paladin. Where is Paladin? All right, Paladin. Paladin, I'm gonna put at A tier. Okay, so this class was unkillable due to their high defense, and is still unkillable after after a patch. It's literally impossible to die as a Paladin because you literally guard every single attack and take no damage. End of story. Oh yeah, their mobbing got better. Next, let's move on to Fire Poison Mage. Now, I'm just going to put that right there on the SS. Fire Poison really surprised me when I was playing it from level 1 to 160 on my live stream. At 3rd job, you gain access to the skill Poison Rain that spreads over the map horizontally. And if you use a fire skill after the spread, there is a chain reaction that essentially explodes all of the areas that have poison on it. So, from a real world experience, I was training at Sahel 2, which is a one platform flat map, and dropping Poison Rain and waiting for the poison to spread throughout the map, and then using Explosion to activate the chain reaction. I basically just had to stand in one spot for the entire, training duration, and all of the enemies just died. Fire Poison Mages have basically soared to the top spots in terms of mobbing and bossing. Next, we have Ice Lightning. Ice Lightning, also SS tier. And I think this class needs no introduction. We all know Ice Lightning's main mobbing skill, Chain Lightning, is really good. Ice Lightning's fundamental kit hasn't really changed. All of the skills are relatively the same with minor updates, graphic changes, skill update, revamp, whatever looks better now. And so, the biggest change that Ice Lightning's got is that Chain Lightning can now bounce upwards and downwards instead of only downwards. Chain Lightning also got a range increase, so obviously that's really good. You can connect your attacks from a longer distance. And so with this being changed, it really now rivals Luminous's Reflection because of that range increase and the ability to actually hit mobs above and below in a single cast. So for mobbing, Ice Lightning is really good. Now, I would personally recommend Ice Lightning for beginner players because of the ease. It's just such an easy class to play, right? You can it's so easy to pick up, learn the kit, and then that's it. The only thing that might come to a hassle for Ice Lightning is toggling all of your skills. For example, if you die in a boss fight, well, you're gonna have to sit there and press all of those toggle skills to get them back up. But, you know, that's just a problem for mages. Another slight problem, and you'll probably only encounter this after 5th job, but because there's so many toggle skills, they continuously drain MP. It's probably going to be a small problem for you if you were to take damage. It'll because of Magic Guard, you'll drain your MP more faster. So that's also a potential problem. Next, let's move on to Bishop. Bishop is our kind of like standard, baseline damage DPS kind of, class. And Bishop is kind of like that king of support, the iconic support role. So I'm gonna put Bishop at B tier. Bishop has actually gotten a significant increase in terms of their DPS, better than some of the existing classes. Big Bang seems to have a bigger hitbox, which means you can hit mobs from further away. From when I was playing Bishop, it felt like the end delay for the skills got shorter, which meant for faster casting. It might also have to do with all of the booster skills being a passive skill, so that hitting the attack speed cap would be easier. Fundamentally, Bishop's kit hasn't changed all that much. They are still the iconic support class. Okay, moving on, let's do Bowmaster. Bowmaster, I'm going to put them at B tier because it's kind of your standard hurricane, archer, fast attacking class. I would actually move Bowmaster to A tier after 5th job, but pre-5th job, I'm gonna leave him at B tier. So, Hurricane got improved, which is really good. You don't get a decrease in movement when you're using it. The movement speed was originally like decreased a certain amount, and so it would make you move really slow. Now it just remains the same. Also, Archer's got a new mechanic, which is, it's a teleport mechanic, which lets you place down a teleporter. You can move and then after that you can move wherever you want in the map. And if you click that button again, you'll teleport back to the teleporter. And you can use that with the skill Quiver Flow. This skill kind of changes it changes archers in general because it provides a lot of repositioning, right? For example, if you were training, you can plop it down at the top of the map, jump down, do your arrow platter, do your hurricane skill, whatever, and then once you get to the bottom, you click on your teleport skill and you go back all the way to the top. And so you kind of create a rotation in that map. For bossing, for example, Lotus lasers in the first phase, you can plop it to the side or plop it in the middle. And as you're moving towards the side, as the lasers are, moving, you can teleport back to the middle and continue your rotation that way. So this new mechanic, this teleport mechanic for Bowmaster and Marksman, it's a big impact to their mobility and mechanic. Like if you can master that, your damage output can be so much better. Or well, it's just a lot easier to, do consistent damage without thinking, oh, I have to flash jump there or whatever. I can just plop down, teleport, move away, teleport back. And you can use this teleport quite a lot of times. Like I've done this, I think I did this on my Marksman when I was live streaming my Marksman, and I just said, I did this for training purposes, but easily you could use this for bossing purposes. Next, Quiver Cartridge at 4th job, you get Advanced Quiver. It lets you switch between magic arrows and blood arrows. Magic arrows have a 60% chance of activating, dealing 260% damage. And then blood arrows have a 70% chance to recover 5% of your maximum HP. So that gives Bowmasters a lot of survivability in their kit, which is really nice. So moving on to Marksman. I'm gonna put Marksman on A tier. This class really surprised me because it became so much more tankier. When I was doing my live stream for Marksman, I noticed I wasn't taking a lot of damage, and I was wondering like why. And then so I read through the skills, and there's a passive skill called Damage Reversing, and essentially it lets you create a shield that gives you a bunch of damage reduction. I think up to 60% damage reduction. So that's actually really good. It was insanely helpful while training at places that were too high for my level, The biggest change for Marksman is that you get your main mobbing skill at second job. Piercing is now unlocked once you hit level 30, and every time you job advance, piercing becomes stronger and stronger. Over time, as you continue to use piercing, the form changes and does more damage. Once again, Marksmans and Bowmasters have a teleport mechanic now, so use that to your advantage. And now, you might be wondering, why is Pathfinder not being ranked? Well, Pathfinder didn't really receive a lot of changes in their revamp, so they remain the same as pre-Destiny update. So I'm just gonna not rank them. They don't need to be ranked. So let's move on to the thieves now. Let's start with Shadower. Shadower is S tier. It's a solid thief class to play. Obviously, we're just gonna talk within the realms of Explorer thieves, but it's nice to finally see some changes to the boomerang stab. It's a lot more smoother, and the end delay is a lot shorter. This might also be because of the passive attack speed thing. Booster is, your weapon booster is now passive, so it's always going to be faster. You don't have to cast it, which is a really nice quality of life change. Playing this class feels a lot better now, and you can actually spam boomerang stab in combination with Meso Explosion, or assassinate with Meso Explosion for more damage. Overall, the kit hasn't changed that much. It's just a reskin of the skills and a reduction of delays. It might also be because of my ping, but that's a separate issue. Shadowers are great at bossing, and their mobbing got some well-deserved improvements. If you are the type of person that likes high mobility and high damage classes, this is the one for you. Let's move on to Nightlord. Controversy. I know. It deserves to be up there. What can I say? It kind of deserves to be up there. Nightlord is your high-risk, high-reward class that still stands on top of the throne when it comes to single-target DPS. Pre-Destiny, post-Destiny, it still stands, it's at the top of the list. It usually stays there. You get lines on top of lines for days once you hit 5th job, but before you do, mobbing with Showdown is actually quite satisfying. For some reason, the sound effects is satisfying. The skill's got a new visual update, and you'll basically see a bunch of stars flying everywhere in the map. Nightlords are quite squishy, but that's to be expected. Their mobility is quite decent as they now have access to Shadow Rush and Shadow Leap. They originally did have an up jump, but now they have an horizontal dash as well. The dash compared to Dual Blade's dash is not that far, but it's still useful in certain situations. A great quality of life change is that you no longer need to carry so many stacks of your stars, which is amazing. I haven't increased my inventory slot on my Nightlord, and it's tough holding that many sets of stars. You also don't have to worry about rearranging your stars so that the strongest star is at the highest spot in your inventory. So for example, if I had like a set of Crystal Ilbies and Ilbies, obviously the damage is different. And so what you would have to do originally would be putting the Crystal Ilbie in the first slot of your inventory. And once you use up all of the Crystal Ilbie stars, it'll move on to the Ilbie stars or whatever. Now it will automatically select the strongest star regardless of where it is positioned in your inventory. And with your passive skill Spirit Claw, which you get at 3rd job, you basically get infinite throwing stars. So no more going to the store to recharge your stars, which is nice. Next, let's move on to Dual Blade. I'm gonna put Dual Blade at S tier. And yeah, even though Dual Blader is my favorite class, they actually got nerfed in some ways or another. Now hear me out. The changes to all of their skills were mostly on the positive side. Phantom Blow and Blade Fury got increased to their hitbox, which is good. Blade Ascension got a bigger boost in, vertical movement, good. But Bloody Storm and Final Cut getting their dash removed can be actually considered a shortcoming when it comes to repositioning during boss fights. Now, on GMS, I would sometimes reposition using Bloody Storm because it did move me forward, a significant amount. Pre-Destiny patch Dual Bladers have a total of 3 dashes, being Bloody Storm, Final Cut, and Tornado Spin. Now, post-Destiny patch, there's only 1. And I'm not really sure why there was a complaint about Final Cut's dash being a hindrance, because it also gives iframes for 3 seconds. You get invulnerability for 3 seconds after casting it. So I'm not sure why the dash needed to be removed, because having it wasn't that big of an issue. Because it's not like you would dash into an insta-kill hit from a boss from using it. Yeah, you get repositioned, but it's not that big of a hindrance, right? Because it's not like you can dash off of ledges or anything. It'll just stop you at the ledge. Yeah, it would reposition you to like the other side of the boss, but it's not that big of a deal. Dual Bladers still get the short end of the stick when it comes to mobbing when comparing it to the other Explorer Thieves. So keep in mind, Blade Fury, although the hitbox did get increased, it's still not, you know, as good as Shadower and Nightlord's mobbing. If you decide to play Dual Blader, you really need to hit 5th job to make mobbing, well, let's just say more manageable. Overall, this class has a little bit of everything in their kit. They have a passive lifesteal with 10% chance of recovering 20% of your maximum HP, which gives good survivability. Dual Bladers also have a few iframe skills like Chains of Hell, Final Cut, and Ashura's Anger's casting animation. That one's a little bit iffy because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Also, Flashbang now always reduces the enemy's accuracy and gives you 10% more damage dealt to the enemy. So if you're looking for a jack of all trades thief class, this one's for you. Moving on to the pirates, our final 3 classes. Let's start with Buccaneer. Buccaneer is S tier, okay? Buccaneer has had one of the biggest changes with the removal of the energy gauge and updating their skills to resemble more of the Leviathan theme. Overall, the class can now deal more damage without any downtime, which is always a good thing. The rest of the skills remain relatively the same. So for Buccaneer mains, don't worry too much about Serpent Screw. The skill really just changed so that you can cast it and it does like 100 hits, and then there's also a cooldown for it, and then you can cast it again. So it's not that big of a deal. I think most players play this class for that skill anyways, because it really does let you be lazy when mobbing, so have at it. Moving on, let's go to Corsair. Corsair is at S tier. Yeah. There are huge improvements to Corsair, to their summons and making them way better than the current ones. Corsairs also get the same treatment as do Nightlords, allowing them to hold less bullets in their inventory and have infinite bullets at 2nd job. They also get a really nice up jump and glide when combined with their flash jump. You can traverse maps at basically light speed, and it's really fun to move around like that. At the end of the day, Corsairs are quite strong and surprisingly fun to play. I had a great time playing this class during my livestream. And finally, the last class is Cannoneer, or Cannon Master, and I'm gonna put that at A tier. The best part about Cannoneer is that the monkey is now a on-off skill, so your monkey companion will always be with you. Cannon Leap is your up jump, so that gives you quite good mobility. Cannon Master skills haven't really changed much, and it's just a fundamental quality of life thing where your booster skills have changed into passives, you know, some of your skills have become toggles, and so, you know, all in all, their mobbing and bossing skills were always good pre-Destiny, and they'll continue to be good post-Destiny. So, that is my tier list. That is what my thoughts are for post-Destiny, you know, Explorer Revamped. And if you guys enjoyed or have anything to discuss about, you know, you guys can always discuss about this in the comment section, you know, what you think about a certain class. If you have anything to discuss about, you can always just leave it there, okay? So, if you guys enjoyed today's video, feel free to show your support in whatever you fancy, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.